Yo, what's good with you? It's Nia Queen. Oh wow, I look good. Okay. How y'all doing today?
Doing pretty swell. Doing
Hey,
pretty swell. How y'all doing? How y'all
I'm
feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's Saturday. I'm feeling great.
We got Chef Beans
Oh man, y'all know the
dropping
motherfucking
gems.
vibes.
Always
This is every day.
be intentional. Always.
You ain't
Love
gotta
it.
get ready if you stay ready.
That's that part. Literally.
And we also have a lovely guest, Allayah Beamon.
Hey guys.
She is a author, self-love expert, motivational speaker, and mom.
Yes, ma'am.
And she actually reached out to me after the episode we did with Aunt. So I'm really happy that, you saw us and you wanted to share your story on our platform.
Absolutely.
I'm really appreciative for you being here today.
Busy.
How was everybody's week this week?
Busy.
Let's start with you,
Yeah,
Alea.
let's start with the
It was
guests.
pretty busy. I had to publish a book and then to
Hey.
publish like my website. So I built my website. So it's now AlayahBeamon.com. No more, like Linktree and Instagram. I'm
Right.
like official now. So it was a busy week because I
When
had
when did you
deadlines to do
officially publish the or launch the website?
just yesterday. Literally just I was like,
Oh,
Wow.
because
I
I
gotta
was
I gotta
looking for
finish.
your site. I was
I
trying
was like,
to.
I was like, I gotta finish it tonight. Let me just get it done. And I
Well,
finished yesterday.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you.
congratulations on that
Yeah.
because it's hard to build a website.
Yes, it is.
Even with all the Wix and all that stuff and Squarespace, I still it took me months to build my website.
2 days, literally 2 days sitting at the hilltop
Mm.
cafe, just grinding. Like I'm sitting there for 6 hours, like stuck in my computer.
Which one? The one over there
La
on?
Brea,
Okay, yeah.
I love it.
Oh
I
yeah,
go
I
there
love
almost
that
every
one
day
too.
just to work, because it is a creative space. Like everybody's there, like just working, and I love the environment and the music and the ambiance, and I get stuff done there, so I enjoy it.
Have y'all seen those apartments that's next to
Yes,
Hilltop? I was trying to get one. I can't afford it. I'm too
Oh, they
broke.
they pricey.
the prices.
Yeah.
I thought they would be like low income for some
You
reason
know
because
they
every.
trying to push us out
Well,
Inglewood.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god,
dang, they look
they
so
they're
nice.
gonna
They
be
got
so
Target
nice.
at the bottom.
was
It's
it?
gonna be
What they? Never mind. I don't even need
what?
to know. I was
They
gonna
going
say
for
like,
3,000 pop for a one
Nah,
bedroom.
more. No, it was like 2,000 for a studio.
mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
They
like 3,700 for the two bedroom, and
might as well go
yeah,
buy
yeah,
a
it
nah.
house.
was it's up there.
Might as well go buy a house.
It's up exactly. I'm like it's up there. Even with a roommate, I can't afford that. But I appreciate that Inglewood is trying to build up,
hmm
but it's just like what's for us? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? What's for us?
That's true.
But what about you, Beans? What's going
How
on?
am I feeling? So, what was your question? How am I feeling today? How was my week?
How was
How's
your week?
my week? Has been, for whatever reason, this week has been long. It's been a lot of different moving pieces. Next week I start class at UCLA for
Okay.
TV screenwriting. Outside of that, it's been just a balance of like work and like social or like work and personal, just all of that. But I'm grateful. Skin moisturized. You feel me? In the words of AZ, I'm rather unique, so I have nothing to complain about. You know what I mean?
And you
Just blessed.
directed a music video too.
You saw that.
what?
Not Quentin Tarantino, Quentin Tarantino. Trust me, from him. And I
What?
say that because that's funny how that kind of happened. One of my boys, his wife is like this big Afro beats like singer, and they decided they wanted to shoot in LA. They needed help with like scouting in different direction and things
Mm.
like that. So you feel me? Who do you call? Chef Beans. Chef Beans to get it done for you. And it was just like amazing shoot. Was driving around in a Lambo, all of
Wow.
that. It was just
Vibes.
it was fun times. And I just smelled the beginning of like I gotta stop saying the beginning of a beautiful thing because this is not the beginning. It's been like a long time coming, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like the seeds are sprouting.
Mm-hmm.
People are really starting to identify the value and the specificity and pay
Mm-hmm.
for it
Mm.
because as far as like just keep doing everything for free, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
Oh, you want that? Oh, okay. There's a price that comes with that,
Right.
Yeah, the price just went up.
and it just continuously goes up. So yes,
That
that's
is
how I'm
true.
feeling. Just like that's all. Everybody, every time people who haven't seen me in a while and they're around me, they're just like, "Yo, bro, you seem so calm." I'm like, "I am.
That is true.
Life is good."
Calm and confident.
That's good.
Always.
That's
How
the
you
way to
feeling
be.
though?
You know, I am pushing through this week. This week wasn't bad or anything like that, but
Mhm.
I just feel like the past 2 months since I've been like intentionally trying to be alone, I've been coming to all these realizations, and you came up in my head this week, and I was thinking about being intentional, and I was just like, it really hit me. Like, I know that you've been saying this. How long we know each other? I don't know, a year or two. Like you've been saying this, but it finally like hit me in a real way because I was talking with one of my clients, and they were complaining about something, and about their weight and their health and different things like that. And I asked them, I was like, "Oh, how much do you eat?" "Oh, I eat like one meal a day." I'm like, "You trying to gain weight?" "Yeah." I'm like, "Are you not hungry?" They're like, "No, I only eat one." And I'm thinking, you you have the power to change that,
Mhm.
right? It's one thing when we don't have the power to change, but it's like
Right.
if you have the power to change that, you have to be intentional about changing that.
Mhm.
And it like that's when I said that to her, I was like, dang. So that goes for everything in life. Like
Mhm.
even with me, I'm trying to be kinder to myself and
Right.
not talk negatively to myself,
Mhm.
and also control my stress. And I'm like, but Nia, are you intentional about that?
Mm.
Are you intentional about taking care of yourself, about
Mm.
doing self care? Are you
Mhm.
intentional about that? Or you just overwork yourself?
Mm.
And I was like, dang, I'm not. I'm not. And it's like, I got to stop complaining about, oh, I feel this way. Or that's why I didn't even want to say, like, oh, it's been a bad week,
Right.
Right.
because I'm trying to practice being intentional about the words that come out of my mouth.
That's
All right.
facts.
And so
Full circle
that
moment.
it was like a full circle moment. I was like, damn, I gotta get
Yes.
me another shirt because it really no, it really just
Yeah.
hit me. And it's just weird how sometimes things are in your vicinity,
Mhm.
but it doesn't click
Until
until
a moment. Yeah.
until it clicks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it was just like I have to stop coming to work or leaving work complaining about, oh, I'm tired, or I'm this, I'm
Mm.
that. Are you intentional about the time you go to sleep now? Are you
Mm.
intentional? It was just like
Like
everything
everything.
started clicking, and I was just like, let me try to go to sleep early so I don't complain in the morning
Mm.
about this.
Right.
Or if I know I'm gonna be anxious, let me not drink coffee because I know that that's gonna make
Make
me
me more
even
anxious.
more
Yeah.
anxious.
Yeah.
Right.
So it just hit me in a real way, and I was just like, dang.
Realization
You
week.
you never know why God puts people in your life
Amen.
sometimes, and
Mhm.
I always speak highly of Chef Beans, but it's
Mm.
just like things like that is the reason why,
Mhm.
is because he been in my life for a minute,
Right.
and that never came to mind.
The be intentional
Yeah, it
aspect.
never came to mind. Like I thought you was talking about like hard work and your job and your career, like being intentional
Being
about that.
intentional about
But it was just
everything.
like everything,
Every
Yeah.
aspect.
even
Yeah.
what time you go to sleep.
Mhm.
Bro.
It's just man.
And that's the before we really get into it,
Hmm.
like that's the intention behind the three dots. Is
Mm.
because it can be intentional with whatever you need it to be. Whether
Mm,
Mm.
that's because it could have just been be intentional dot and it's like okay. But it's like
Mm.
no, you fill in the blank.
I
What
right.
like
does
that.
intentionality mean to your life? How are you adding deliberate focus to the things that you do or the things that you're trying to reroute or change? And
Mhm.
that's the point of it. So yes, I'm happy that you had a full circle moment
Me
because
too.
again, like I wear things that I need to see or reminders that I need to embrace
Mhm.
as well. So
Mhm.
very
I
grateful
might have
to
to
hear
give
that.
me a be intentional tat.
Yo,
Literally.
be intentional, yaddy.
Cause I need to remind myself daily, like, don't complain, Nia. Were you being intentional about it? Okay, then I don't want to hear you complain.
Right,
I have to tell myself that. So I'm glad that I came to that realization, and
I'm glad
I went
to.
to the spa.
Oh, that's lovely.
Last week, and I really didn't do anything. Like I was intentional about resting.
right,
Mhm.
And I was just like, wow, this feels really good, because other times I would feel kind of guilty for like resting,
Mm.
because I'm like,
There's so
yeah,
much
you
I could
got
be doing.
exactly. You need
Yeah.
to reach out to people for the podcast. You need to do this. You need to do this with your company. You need to type notes for work. It's like it's a million and one things to do. So every time I would take a break or
Mm.
try to rest or go to bed early, my mind would go crazy. So
Yeah.
I had to be intentional about the way that I go to sleep. I gotta play rain sounds when I go to sleep.
I've
right.
been doing ocean.
Yeah,
That's been
rain sounds or
helping.
ocean
That's been
sounds,
helping.
because
Yeah.
I already know, Nia, you overthink at night, so you need to calm your mind down. So it's just like,
Facts.
be intentional, man.
I
I can't
love that.
believe that that just now hit at me, because I
Sometimes it
may
takes
have been
time.
I met you in 2019.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
a minute ago,
Yeah,
and we
and then
started doing the pop in 2021. Yeah, I've had Be Intentional the whole time.
right.
Shit's been the
I'm like,
same.
it's
The
it's
shit has
been
been the same.
it's been in the vicinity for
Yeah.
a minute,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Oh,
I'm just so
happy for
happy to
you.
have a friend like him. Like you
Yes,
don't even
likewise.
know.
We
You
all
don't
need those friends.
even know.
Yes,
We all need those
Exactly.
friends.
absolutely.
We all need those friends.
I've been that friend
Leading
to
by
all my friends.
example. You
Bro,
know, he doesn't have to tell me, yeah, you need to do this. You need.
Yeah.
He don't need to do that. He just
He
does
leads
what
by
he
example.
does, and I learn from that. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm really thankful for my bro right here.
That's dope.
Whew.
Love to
Okay.
hear it.
All right. So last weekend was the Grammys.
bro.
Oh, I saw Brent Fayez. He was fired. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got distracted.
It's all
But
good.
I saw him perform. And Jay-Z and DJ Khaled was in the
Yeah.
building too. I was just
You
like,
went to the Grammys?
no, I didn't go to the Grammys. I
Oh,
went to a concert that happened 2 days before the Grammys that
okay.
celebrated independent artists.
Mhm.
And so that's why Brent Fayez was there, and I don't know his name, Toby
I know
something.
you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know his last name, but yeah,
Mhm.
he was there. He was great too. But even just being in the room and then like, you know, at the in the VIP section was like Jay Z, Wiz Khalifa, DJ Khaled,
Mhm.
Mario, and I was just like, I'm not doing enough. Like, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, it's fun to enjoy,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's just like, dang, like that was really like
Yeah.
inspiring. Like,
Yeah.
I need to get up there. Like, not literally,
Yeah.
but
No, I
it's
get
just
you.
like
I get you.
you could do more a little
Right.
bit, But what am I talking about the Grammys?
I
Oh,
was definitely supposed to go, but
you're supposed to go to the Grammys?
I was supposed to go, but I work for Tiffany like Haddish, and so she's on tour, and she begged me to come with her on tour. She was like, "I want you to come with me on tour. Like, this is
Mhm.
our first stop." I'm like, "I got the Grammy tickets," but she was like, "I need you with me on this trip." So I went to Seattle,
Oh
and I was
wow.
like, "You know what? She already bought my hotel. She paying for everything. Let me not
Yeah.
back out." And she was like, "We can
Sorry,
go to the
Grammys. Got a blast.
NAACP."
Right.
Like I was just like, "There's so many other things," but I was like, "This is the Grammys. I got a dress already." I was like, "Oh Lord!" But I chose to be intentional. I told her I was going. I told her I was, and I'm big on my word. If I
Mhm.
say I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be there. Like
Right.
I just couldn't, back out for a night of fun. Plus, I've been to about 5, so it was just kind of
Oh,
like,
you've been to 5. Okay.
yeah.
Little flex.
I used to work for Chris Brown as an assistant when I was like in college, so that's how I got into that industry, and I
Mhm.
worked in it for like 7 years.
Mm,
Hmm.
interesting.
So the
Well, I want
Grammys
to
are fun.
ask you, like, working in the entertainment industry, real quick. Like,
Hmm.
how is that?
At the time, I was 16, so I was underage.
Oh wow.
Chris Brown like had to pay the bouncers to get me into clubs
Oh
because I
wow.
was his assistant, but I was just very young, and he was like, "I don't care, I want you to come." Being in college and working in that industry is crazy. I was up to like 6 in the morning, and then I had a 9 a.m. class. Everybody's like, "What's wrong with your hair?" I was like, "I was at the club all night,"
Right.
and I was just like, it was fun. So I worked with him, and then from him going into corporate, so going into Sony, like sitting at a desk, being on the lot on camera, like, you know, it was a difference between like the personal,
Right.
like assistant where we partying, we having fun, and then now I'm sitting at a desk under like an executive. It was it
Right.
was it was a drastic change, but I had
Yeah.
to do it, because Chris Brown went, you know, like to jail, and I had to
Mm.
decide if I want to continue to be like an assistant for someone who's not here or help
Right.
out his
Right.
brand or get a real job. And he was like, I got you. You
Mm.
don't like, I don't know, like I didn't have to interview. I didn't have to do like a resume. He called some folks up and I walked in. It was
That's
my
Wow.
lit.
first day at Sony. So
Oh, that's a good story. We're gonna have to talk later.
yeah.
Some things. You know what I'm saying? We have to talk later about some things. So yeah, speaking of the Grammys, what were y'all's favorite album of the past year? I won't say last year, but the past year.
I know we talked a little bit off mic, but seriously, my favorite album of past year is My Own Heartbeat. Like no, I'm silly. I'm not like that, like into myself. But nah, seriously. I This might sound crazy, but I listen to like older albums. I'm like a
Okay.
90s R&B type dude, or like I rarely dive into new music unless it catches me. I mean, I really enjoy SZA's album. Um but I'm still on like Ari Lennox album. What is it? I just got a new apartment.
Uh-huh.
All of that.
Oh yeah,
I
the
still
older
really
one.
like that
Yeah.
album. Like I still
He
listen
ain't
to
swayed.
freaking like
Yeah.
Casey and JoJo. Like
Mm.
because again, like when I'm doing work, sometimes I'm listening to like jazz instrumentals. Like I need something like calming because
Right.
rap speeds it up.
Mm-hmm.
R&B sometimes slows it down, and I need to just be like at a steady cadence. And
Mm-hmm.
Right.
outside of that, if I'm driving somewhere far, I'm probably listening to the podcast or something,
Mm-hmm.
or listening to another podcast, trying to just stay super aware. But as far as new music, I got a couple like singles, like was it like Leon? Is it Leon Bridges? And it's a couple people who got a couple one offs that I enjoy. But as
Mhm.
far as like albums that I can say I listen to from top to bottom, SZA and Nas. No, Nas and Hit Boy had an album that recently came out that was hard too. But yeah, those are like my favorite albums from the past year.
I would say for me, DJ Khaled for sure. I wasn't like a fan
DJ
always,
Khaled. Okay.
but like his
God did.
yes, his music this time, it felt like it was like real intentional. Like that word just came across every time. Like his songs, like he really put his heart and soul into this album. You can really tell, like he dealt with some stuff, like like he wrote like a lot of it, and I can tell that this album was full of like love, but it
Mm.
was also full of like what is the word? Like I guess more of like his growth. I can see like him
Mm.
as a like an artist. He's growing. Like his topics weren't
It
like the
wasn't
same.
all I
Like
do
it
is
was
win, win,
yeah,
win.
it was really deep. Like some of his, and then all of the features he had, like with her and like all these dope artists. I'm just like, okay, because it's normally just like him and some rappers, but he brought
Right.
in like
Yeah.
some,
It
some
was full
vocalists and
circle.
like,
Yeah,
and I was like, I love it. I feel like it's important like to grow
Right.
as an artist. And even though he's big, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit this down and really do something different with it. And I think it's dope. I think
Okay,
it's really dope.
DJ Khaled.
Mm-hmm.
Well, y'all know my favorite rapper is Kendrick Lamar, and he
Yeah.
won Best Rap Album,
Yeah.
and that's
I
my
like
favorite
Kendrick's
album
too.
of
Yeah, I
the
like that.
past year. Like I said, I've been having a lot of epiphanies. Now I've been listening to the album for a year, but it didn't hit me until January what he was talking about. Like he's been going to therapy himself, so a lot of that was what he's been processing in therapy, whether it's
Mm,
problems with his dad or
mm,
accepting different family members for their lifestyles. And even one of my favorite songs right now is Mirror, because he keeps saying, I choose me, I'm sorry, I choose me, I'm sorry. It's like, I don't care if I fall out of your graces, like I have to choose me.
mhm,
And it was just like, dang, like, you know even for him, all that pressure, to make albums, to be the best, and a lot of people had a lot of things to say about him, like during 2020, and like,
mhm.
where's Kendrick? Why he not standing up
Yeah.
for black people? Why he not doing it? And it's just like, dang, do we ever think about him in his own life?
Yeah.
As
He
an
got two
individual,
kids, a wife. He has to feed his family, but also he has to be there for his
Mhm.
family. So it's just like sometimes we forget, like we get so caught up in, oh, when's next Kendrick album coming out? Why he ain't came out? And it's like, I choose me. So I
Mm,
took my time to
exactly.
do what I had to do.
Yeah.
Um,
And it was amazing.
yeah, it was
It was
amazing
worth the wait.
album. Like Mirror Savior is like probably one of my favorite songs. And then even Count Me Out.
Mhm.
And he was just like, I had to forgive myself 100 times. I was
Whew,
just like,
that's
dang,
a bar.
why he know he in my head? Like I felt it. It just hit different when I realized what he was actually talking about. So that's definitely my fit. And I guess I'm kind of biased because I love all Kendrick stuff, but actually, To Pimp a Butterfly is my favorite Kendrick album. But this one, yeah, it hit pretty hard for me. Helped me
Mm,
get through a lot, and I'm just very appreciative of that young man. And he from Compton,
I
like,
know.
he's just amazing. I love Kendrick Lamar. I saw him perform last year too. It was amazing. It was
That's
amazing.
so
dope.
y'all watched the whole Grammys from top to bottom?
I didn't watch
I
them at
haven't
all.
I haven't watched
Okay,
it at all.
I was
I,
about to say me
yeah,
neither.
I was
I was
like,
like, I
I
don't
need
know
to
if
go
this is
back.
about to be a super.
I need to
yeah,
go back.
My Grammy experience usually is me just watching the highlights of who won.
Yeah.
right.
I've never really sat down ever in my life, sat down from top to bottom and wanted to watch the Grammys.
Right.
I don't got it in me.
Yeah, I only watch it if like somebody I really want to see perform is performing, like Kendrick or Beyonce
Mhm.
or somebody that I'm really invested in.
Mhm.
But I didn't I watched Kendrick's
I'm gonna
acceptance
probably watch
speech.
it just because I
Yeah.
heard like a lot of the performances were like really real. Like what's her name? Lizzo. I heard she
Oh yeah,
shook up the
Lizzo.
house. She always does. She's that
Yeah.
person, and I was like, I probably should sit down and watch all of it. So I plan to. I'm gonna let y'all know how it
Yeah.
Have
goes.
a blast.
Yeah,
I heard
have a
that shit is like
blast.
6 hours. I heard this one is one of those.
Really?
Pack a lunch.
Oh
So the
yeah, no.
film, yes, you're there all day, like 6 or 7 hours. But the actual Grammys is like an hour and
Oh, okay.
What?
yeah, like to watch it is like an hour and a half. Because
Oh
there's a
wow.
lot of chopping and screwing. Like they
They don't
literally
show
you
everything.
be like sitting in a chair for 3 hours and you have to get up, move around. It's like a whole production.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And it's
Wow.
done on that day. Like they
Right.
don't do anything prior. Like it's like live and in action.
Everything is on that day.
Yeah,
Wow.
production is very interesting. When I first came out to LA, when I was just trying to figure out random ways to make money, I was like one of the people who be in the crowd for the shows and
C
stuff. Like,
filler.
yeah. So they'd be like, all right, when they come out, make sure you like, whoa, like it, all of that stuff that you see on TV, like that you think is just supernatural. A lot of that stuff is just like
Rehearsed.
very rehearsed, very intentional. We said intentional. We need like an intentional
Yeah,
jar,
little bell that we ring.
something. But yeah, I think one thing that also stood out about the Grammys before we move on is
Mhm.
the Viola Davis winning finally
Mhm.
getting her EGOT.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's hard.
that's
Yeah.
dope.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Unstoppable, literally.
She has range, and if you just think about all her performances, whether it's fences with the snow, I've been here with you. All of
Right.
that.
I was
She's a
standing
dog.
there
Oh
with
my
you.
I've
god.
That's
been
gone.
standing here with you.
Yeah.
You got it,
That's
dog.
a woman king where she just starts
Right.
slicing people. I was like,
She has
yo.
like a very like demanding
Mhm.
presence whenever she's on film,
Mhm.
whenever she's speaking. She talks with so much conviction,
Mhm.
confidence, and all of those things. And I'm sure that's a lot what you help people with as well, right?
Yes.
See that transition?
Yeah, I see you. I see you. So, Alea, why don't you tell us how you got started? Because you're in the music industry or the entertainment
Mhm.
industry, but then you decided to start writing, and
Mhm.
you're also a self love expert. So, talk a little bit about how that came to be.
Right. So, being in that environment, I saw a lot of issues when it came to people and expressing their feelings or balancing their life. They
Mm,
pour all their energy into work and then they end up being depressed. Or I dealt with like friends who committed suicide in
mm,
the industry. I don't want to, put out their names, but it was about four. And after that, I realized like they need a voice, a person that is around them. That I've been through some things that people would be like, wow. But I'm still super positive. And so I said, I need to basically be a therapist without being a therapist.
mm,
I've found that men in general, I would say, don't always talk to therapists. But if you're a friend and you're just honest and open and transparent with them, they'll give that back. And so, like, I just found in that industry working with Chris Brown and different artists and celebrities, I would see them break down or go like to drugs to fix their
mm-hmm.
issues. Or I'm like, you need a therapist. You really tripping. They'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm chilling. And I would be like, well, I can be your therapist without being a therapist. And I'm like, it became this thing where everybody calls me for their issues. Like, I need prayer.
You that strong
I'm just
friend.
interested in
Right.
talking about this issue. Like, whether it's their girlfriend or their wife, their husband. I got people that call me for all kind of stuff. I'd be like, it's 6 in the morning. What you want? But I always answer because I'm always like, it could be a crisis. It could be a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been at the place where I've saved people from jumping off a cliff, like where I've gotten a call, like, I want to talk, like, to you. I'm dealing with this issue, and I'll be like, oh my god, like I'm kind of like a little, I don't know. I guess it's like a hero in a way.
Definitely a hero.
And I would say, like, for Chris, a lot of the things that I feel like just like what is it called? I guess it's
I
like in
don't want to get
general.
you in trouble. You didn't
No,
sign no
no, you good.
NDAs, and I'm
He's
like,
definitely grown, and I tell people all the time it's because he actually took time to grow. In
mm,
jail, it's just you
right.
in these bars, and I think that like moment like needed to happen. That was his therapy.
Mm,
He had to sit with himself, and people don't sit with themselves. So
right.
I
Everything happens
challenge,
for a reason. Maybe he needed
I,
to sit.
yeah,
Yeah.
I challenge people to sit with themselves to ask the hard questions. And so instead of just doing just the verbal, I said, let me put it into a journal. Like,
Hmm.
let me see if
Right.
people can actually do this like on a daily basis. There is like activities in there, there's challenges, there's exercises where it's like, I gotta do this. Like, I really have to sit in a room without the phone and write or think
Hmm.
out these things. And I've saw transformation after transformation from friends and, just their, so it's like improvement
Right.
in their work life and the personal life, sex life. I'm talking about all kind of different things. People have just found themselves, which is
Right.
sometimes like it's the hardest thing because we're doing like a lot for everybody else,
Right.
but we don't stop and think like this is an issue.
Right.
I
And
need
I
to
can
work on it.
only imagine like working in the entertainment industry, they're chasing, their goals, they're
Hmm.
chasing more success. So
Hmm.
they could probably be hard on themselves instead of being in the moment like, dang, look at what I accomplished so
Hmm.
far. Cause I
Yep.
know I have that problem.
Yeah.
I'm beating myself up about the podcast or whatever. And it's just
Hmm.
like, yeah, you a licensed therapist at 27.
Right.
You had your master's degree at 23. Like you got it going on. Like sometimes I have to, do that and show myself
Pat
love.
yourself on the back. Yeah.
Right, pat myself on the
Yeah.
back. So I can only imagine what you saw as far as the pressure to succeed with people or
Not
accomplish.
taking breaks like
Right,
that.
not taking
Taking
breaks.
breaks and sitting down and going like to a yoga class. Like I'd be like, try to do like something that will help you. You
Mm,
do everything for your, so it's for your team, for your friends, for your wife, but like take out time every week to do something for you, even if it's just going like to eat at your favorite like restaurant, going
mm-hmm.
to a coffee shop that you like, going to, so it's like the spa or the beach, just doing something for you will just create a safer space for you to function in every other area.
Right.
You have to take time
Mm-hmm.
for yourself.
That's true. That is
Gotta take time
very
for yourself.
true. How do you show yourself love, Chef Beans?
Um, I have morning affirmations. I'm starting to stretch more in the mornings just because crisscross applesauce and yoga is called sukhasana. I've never been able to really do it like comfortably. So I want to develop more flexibility in my body because I heard that's where a lot of trauma is stored.
Mm,
Mm,
So that's one way. Developing more of a routine, reading, and writing, of course.
yeah.
Freaking producing these shows across the country, like the one in DC, that one was pretty cool. So it's just like it's all of that. Like I have a really healthy relationship with myself, and I feel like it shows. So I continuously water that on the daily. I check in on myself when imposter syndrome pops up.
Mm,
I don't allow people to shrink me.
that's
mm,
key.
Um,
Yep.
I'm just like very consistent with like all of that, like constantly checking in on myself and checking the world when it tries to tell me who I'm not.
Mm,
yeah.
that's the truth.
Get you some merch because it say check in with yourself on the back.
Come on
Just
now.
FYI.
That's the
I had to
truth.
throw that in there.
That's the
But
truth.
yeah,
You gotta check in
self-love
with
is
yourself.
a thing that you kind of have to learn
Yeah.
as you get older
Yeah. Yeah.
because as a kid it's just like, oh, let me do what mommy and daddy say.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
do what I need to do for school. Like we don't have a lot of time sometimes as children to
For ourselves.
focus on what we want to do, and we don't have the money either.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we can't always do what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going through Instagram yesterday and I came across this video and I actually like started tearing up because you started talking about how do we expect other people to love us when we don't know how to love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But then you start talking about God and you were like, God forgives us, God loves us no matter
He
what
gives us
we
grace.
doing.
Why can't we
He
give
gives,
ourselves grace?
and we can't give ourselves grace.
I
And I
used to
was
be
just
so
like,
hard on myself. Like I used to
man.
be like, I don't know, like, cause how do I say this? So I had it all, like the money, the cars, the
Hey,
life, and then I lost it.
Mm.
top down
And
screaming
I
out
lost
money
it
ain't a
because
thing.
I trusted the wrong people, or I trusted, like a relationship that I thought was toxic, but I believed in the person, and then they
Mm.
ended up draining me of everything. And so one thing that I realized, it's not an L, it's a lesson.
Mhm.
If I can get it, I can get it again. Like
Right.
I have that same drive to get it again. This time I'm protecting my shit. I'm locking my shit up. And then,
Right.
like,
Dang.
because I have a son now. So I think about him and everything I do.
Mm.
But I for sure used to beat myself up for those things, like you trusted this person, you allowed them in, you shared your assets, I put somebody through college, y'all. I paid for a man to go to college. Yeah, yeah. That was me at
You out here
18.
paying tuition?
I was making money. I was making so much money. I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, "You want to go to music school still? I got you." You know, forget
Uh-uh.
a loan. So those are the things I beat, like and then I realized that's just that's just me. I am
Right.
a giver. I like, like, and so I've accepted the fact that I am a giver,
Mhm.
but I have to get into a space with people that can give back. And that's the
Mm.
Reciprocity.
hardest thing I've dealt with in my life. I be like,
Whoo.
I just sacrificed my life for you, and then I can't get $1, or I can't
Ooh.
get a thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes that is all that I want, and I can't even get a thank you.
And when it comes to things like that, we gotta remind ourselves because I'm sure we've all been in
Yeah.
situations where we kind of look like the audacity of you.
Uh-huh.
Right.
But karma doesn't miss a beat. Not saying you should wish like certain
Yeah.
karma on people, but just understanding
Oh
like
yeah.
that too was a seed.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Those seasons were seeds, and now looking back, you kind of remind yourself like that kind of had to happen that
Oh
way
yeah.
because had not, then
I wouldn't be the person I am today, to be real.
Right.
this would have transpired.
Yeah.
So
And also not letting that change your true character.
No.
If you're a
Yeah.
giver,
Yeah.
we don't want to allow that one situation to
Relationship.
be like, oh no, I'm not doing that no
Right.
more. Because I'm not gonna,
Right.
I'm not gonna be stupid again. I'm not, and it's not even about being stupid. It's a lesson that you
And it's
had to
being
learn.
intentional with your giving, though.
It-
Like
yeah.
making sure that like I'm doing it from an honest place.
Right.
Like I can't like think about it, like for praise or for
Mhm.
thank. Like just if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it because I love you and I want to see
exactly.
that
Mhm.
that work. And so I've definitely stopped being so like, like, girl, you messed up. I'm 28 years old. I got time. I'm like over here like
Right.
I
We
ain't 40
still
yet. I
learning.
got
We still
time. You know what
learning.
I
Right,
mean?
right. And
I'm young.
we kind of like we what do we do? We try to grow up so fast.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
try to like get ahead of the lessons that we're supposed to learn. Like we try to put ourselves in like the super guru 200-year-old person who's going through all these lessons like I should have done better, and it's
Yeah.
like no,
No.
this was your time to learn from it.
Right.
We put ourselves super, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Well,
That's why we gotta give
I,
ourselves grace.
I bet you won't let it happen again,
Right.
and that is okay.
That's why grace is like the word I've used for this year. Like, give yourself grace. If it fails, but you tried.
Exactly. You gotta
Now you go
try.
back to like the drawing board and figure out what didn't work,
Right.
or do it. So it's like a different way. But I tell people, stop being so hard on yourself. Like kids in general. Like I'm going to speak at this event, and it's really about getting them to accept the real them,
Mhm.
really understanding and accepting the fact that you're 10. You can't change the things that you're trying to change right now.
Right.
Be okay with the fact that I'm 10 and I'm learning and I'm figuring it out. You have to give yourself grace because we're all going to fall short of the glory of God.
It's funny that you bring up kids because that was going to be a part of my next question
Yeah.
because in one of my sessions I always try to say affirmations to my kids that I
Mhm.
work with. I always try to point out their positives.
Mhm.
And I just had this one client that was just like, "Oh no, I'm not smart. I'm not this. I'm not that."
Mm.
Like every time I would try to speak some positivity to this child, they would hit me with, "Oh no, no, I'm all right," or,
Mm.
I'm not pretty. I'm ugly. I'm every
Mhm.
single time. And I had to check myself because I'm thinking, like, why is this kid trying to fight me so much? And I asked him, I was like, why, why do you fight it every time? And then he got like really quiet. And I'm just like, what's going on? And he was just like, well, you know, people have been criticizing me my whole life and telling me bad things. So I just say
Mhm.
bad things before they can say it. And he was like, it's easier to just expect the worst. So
Mm.
that way I don't get disappointed.
Oh my gosh.
And my heart broke right there.
Wow, what else too?
Cause this is a kid.
Yeah.
This is a kid in middle school. And I was just like, dang. But I can see how he can end up that way. If people are always criticizing you and telling you, oh, you shouldn't be this, you should be this way, it can make you feel like you're not worthy.
Mhm.
So whenever I tried to speak life into him, it was just met with resistance.
Mm.
So what is something that people can do, or what would you tell that child in that scenario?
You have to be the example. So continuing to speak that like life into them will eventually cause a chain like in their head like this person sees something different in me. I'm probably wrong.
Mm.
And it shifts their mindset. So sometimes with kids, you just have to drill the same idea into their head,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
it's a lot of
You
repetition,
know, because I have a
especially.
son who's 5, and there's certain things where I'll be like, I have to say things sometimes 5 times
Mm.
for him to know, like, you're brilliant at math and it's okay. You finished like your homework super fast and it's okay to be a nerd. I was a nerd, like, but at first he was just like, well, I get embarrassed in class because everyone's still doing their work and I'm like the first one up. And I
Mm.
said,
Wow.
you're a genius. You're a child genius. And I want you to believe that. And so I make him say it every day. I'm
Mm.
smart. It's okay to be this way. And he's 5. So you just kind of, what is it called? Like you have
Affirm.
to, yeah,
Yeah, you
have
have
to
to
affirm
keep
them, but you
affirming
also
them. Yeah.
have to show them because kids will
Mm.
do
I gotta buy me a mirror for
what
my
they see.
office.
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta buy me a
yeah.
mirror for my office. But
Kids will
yeah,
do what they see. So, you know, if you're doing it, it's easy to just be like, okay,
right.
let me give it a
And
shot.
and it's just like if you always expect the worst, it prevents you from taking risk on
Mm-hmm.
what you can accomplish in life. You limiting yourself.
Already from
It's like I'd rather take the risk and fail,
mm-hmm.
but at least know that I tried it
Right.
Yeah, failure
instead of
is
just saying, "Oh no, I'm not good enough to start no podcast. I don't have no background in journalism. I don't know what I'm doing." No, I'm gonna try to do it. If it fails, it fails. But at
mm-hmm.
least I can say I
Say that all
tried,
the
and this
time.
is my
Yeah,
passion. But yeah, I like that you do that with your son now
yeah.
because those are the formative years. 5 years
Mm-hmm.
old, that's when those
Mm-hmm.
those connections are being made
Right.
because by the time the kids come to me, it's like it's ingrained in there. So
Yeah.
sometimes I don't even see progress with some of my clients until like 6 months to a year after
Mm.
of me saying the same thing over and over
Mm.
and over and over again.
Because it's been so, yeah,
Yeah,
implanted.
because it's so ingrained, and then also
Mm.
too, I only have an hour with them
Right.
a
Mm.
week,
Mm.
and I always tell them, I say, okay, it's what 168 hours in a week.
Oof.
That means you only with me for an hour. It's 167 hours that I'm not there. So what are you doing when I'm not around?
Mhm.
Are you talking to yourself negatively? Are you saying anything positive to yourself? Because you have to practice it. So
Try
yeah.
an incentive too. I know, like, just I'm telling you, try an incentive.
Right.
Like, I love to incentivize kids because they'll be like, you know what? I'm a journal for like 10 days straight because I want that Snickers and them tickets to,
Mm,
like the
Tiffany
theater,
yeah.
Haddish
right?
I might
concert.
could
Right,
do the candy. I'm like,
so
I can't buy them too much
right,
stuff,
right.
but I
Or you
might could do
can
the
give
candy.
them a journal or something for them to have that
Right.
will like make them feel like, oh, she really
Yeah,
care.
because the motivation is not always there with the
Kids
kids.
need things,
Yeah, they need the reward. They need the
tangible
positive
stuff.
reinforcement.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I just have to be consistent with the kids cuz
Yeah.
if not, they just going to just talk themselves down and then I see it and how it progresses is when you keep talking to yourself negative that way, like that's how they end up suicidal or
Mm-hmm.
thinking that their
Mm-hmm.
life is not
Mm-hmm.
valuable. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just like every I see the beauty in every kid. So I'm just like, why would you say that? It hurts me
It comes
sometimes.
from somewhere. We gotta
Right.
also like realize that kids weren't born feeling this way. They weren't.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's
more
true.
so probably influence that's coming from the
The
household,
whole, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
household.
things that they're hearing from, whether that's parents, siblings,
Mm-hmm.
society,
Yep.
TikTok, having examples of what's beautiful and what's not
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Them looking in the mirror saying, "Hey, I don't look like that, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm not this stature that I've made
Right.
that I've never even took the time to even get to."
Right.
Right.
And they kind of stay in that space and it multiplies. And
Yeah.
I think that's why trauma, when I was saying trauma exists in the hips and things like that, because a lot of it is unaddressed
Mm-hmm.
and it just plays out during adulthood when you're trying to be romantic with somebody or have friendships or
Mm-hmm.
work
Mm-hmm.
relationships. They all coincide. So yeah, that's where it goes. But I think if you have the kids that you work with, you incentivize them with
Mm-hmm.
some
Mm-hmm.
Tiffany Haddish tickets or something,
Mm-hmm.
they'll go
Like
out.
I'm starting like my workshops, so I'm launching like workshops at high schools and colleges because I feel like with them I can get to the nitty gritty. Like I can talk about things that I can't, with kids. And so
Yeah.
um I'm like thinking about it like they're going to I've seen a change in the students already that fault every week. Like these girls used to be really catty, but I made them see that you're all equal. If you really understand it, you're
Right.
Right.
all in 12th grade. You aren't a millionaire yet.
Right. Exactly. Y'all
Like
on the
you have a
same
following,
level.
but you're still no different than her. And so I
Mm-hmm.
caused them to come in with a blank slate. Like everybody is dope in here. Everybody is a winner in here. And they were all like, at first they didn't
They hit you with
like
some
receive it, you know?
resistance. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was like, y'all, I've been here. I used to fight. I used to think that, that was the thing to do. But I realized that you need to show the love that you want.
Right.
And as girls, like you're at a school that's paid for, like blessed in a private school and you're fighting on campus, like where is the where's the love? And so I taught them to really see that you can all be great if you stop comparing yourself. I think that's one of the
Mm.
biggest things. They
Woo.
was like, well, she has 5,000 followers on Instagram and I barely have like 1,000. I'm trying to grow mine. Or she,
That's
she
crazy.
has a new car and I'm driving a bucket. I said, I'm gonna tell you something. It's all right. But y'all can be the best of friends and don't even know it. But
Right.
with all these comparisons and like feeling like this person is here and this person is here, you are losing out on probably a great
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
Right.
Right.
So I break down those barriers and the teachers be like, dang, you got them to talk. They used to like fight. And now
Right.
they're
Yeah.
sitting next to like each other at every freaking, like workshop. And I'm like,
Right.
I did that because I saw an issue and I broke it down from the root.
But you also instill self love.
Yeah.
Because if you love yourself
Yes.
and you think highly of yourself, you're not
Absolutely.
worried about what other
Absolutely.
people doing.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I feel like, because I work with high school too,
Yeah.
and those girls,
Ugh, they can be
whoo,
difficult to
they
get to.
they be difficult, and I'm just like, I'll be like, why do you care? Like, why do you really? Why do you
Why
care so
so
much
much? Yeah.
about what this girl is doing? It's the
Mhm.
comparison.
Yeah.
It's the comparison. Stop
But you have
comparing
to
yourself to
see
people.
yourself as worthy, as beautiful. But I like that that's always last. So I put like so it's like a list of, all of the affirmations, like the beauty is last.
Right.
I always say that's not the most important.
Exactly.
Are you enough?
Right.
Are you, capable? And like those are the things that are important. Then I say now accept that you're beautiful. Don't just go in thinking, everything is about beauty because it's really
Right.
not. It's about being
It's about
beautiful
what's on
on
the
on the
inside.
inside.
Right. It's about
It's
what's on the
called a
inside.
inside out
Right. Exactly.
approach
Exactly.
that I use with them.
So, being that you are an expert on self love, I wanted to ask you, because you are a mom, and
Mhm.
I don't think I ever had a mom on the show.
Mhm.
Um, what does self love look like for a mom? Because you full time,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
I'm a
saying?
mom, business owner, entrepreneur. I do a lot of things, but so it's two parts. So for self care, that's the physical things.
Okay.
People don't understand they're totally different. Those are like the spas or the facial or going out to eat and, but the self, like love is sitting with these issues I'm dealing with, journaling, talking them out, praying. I wake up at 5 a.m. every day. And people are like, how? But you go to bed at 2. I'm like, I really don't need sleep. And I used to think I was like a superhero because I'm like, Mom, I got so much energy. And she was like, I don't know why. You just have all this energy. And I wake up with this, like, I'm going to be sure that I focus on the things that I am trying to shift.
Mhm.
So in all of the journals, it there's a page that it shows the old like habits and the new habits. So
Mhm.
every day I try to focus on the habits I'm trying to shift.
Mhm.
So I separate time every day in the morning before he's up. Because when he's up, it's time to get ready for school and keep it going.
Mm.
But for 2 hours, it's me, and God.
Right.
Me, and God.
Right.
I'm locked in and I'm focused on being sure that the day is focused on me and him, but I have to be okay for him to be okay.
Right. Right. And
There's a
that's what I
saying.
was gonna touch on because I
There's a
was thinking,
saying, yeah.
like, dang, I wonder, does she ever feel guilty for taking that time out for herself? But it's like you made time.
I
You're not
learned though. So as far as like an airplane, right? If that thing crashes, you have to put yours
your
on
mask
first.
on
I
first.
learned that in an emergency, like on an airplane, and I was like, I wanted to put his on first. It was the scariest
Mm.
day of my life. He's traveled everywhere, and this was the one time like the plane was just really shaking. There was like everybody putting oxygen masks. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put his on first. And I looked at this mom, and she put hers on first. I was like, whoa, that's a sublim.
Mm.
That's deep. We have to
Yeah, it
take care of
is.
ourselves first before we can take
Right.
care of anybody else,
Right.
whether it's a child, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a cat or a dog. We have to take care of ourselves first. So I dedicate that time, and that kid, he gets it. Like he understands. Like there's days from like I'm going to the spa. He's like, oh, I'm gonna be like with the nanny, but it's all right, mom.
Mm.
Go and do your thing, because I'm gonna come back like just like refreshed and
Rejuvenated. Yep.
rejuvenated and like
Rejuvenated.
and I teach him that too. So this kid is doing yoga. He does like his yoga and he does it
Right.
at school. And now, now it's like a home activity. He sits there and just closes his eyes. And I'm like, yo, this kid is 5. He's like, I need to breathe, mom. I'm having like, it's just a lot going on. I'm really tired. I have all this homework. And I'm like, you're 5. What is the point? But he said, I need to breathe. I feel like I just have too much going on. And he'll stop what he's doing and start doing yoga. And I said,
That's
Wow.
he's
dope.
seeing that.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. You
Yep.
making me want a little boy.
Boys are fun, but they like to eat.
Yeah. Okay.
That is a big part of his self-care. It's like we cook together. He enjoys to learn, the Caribbean cultural food. And so I've been teaching him since he was 2 or 3, like, this is a dumpling. We gonna roll it. This is an oxtail. This is how you season it.
Right.
And so he's always in the kitchen with me. And that is a form of our self
Care
care, putting stuff
together.
together.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so
Yep.
cute.
It's a bonding moment for sure.
So, being that you do have a son, was that the inspiration behind the men's journals?
No, so I lost. Basically, it was like my dad in October. After I beat cancer, I was told that day I'm cured of cancer after going through all these things, and then I got a call after that. My dad had died, so I just came out of like a surgery, like, and everything was good, and then I got a call that my dad died, and I was like, that guy was deep. He talked about his feelings. He journaled. But it was, it was like a verbal, journal. I was his journal. And so he vented like about all these things that guys go through. And I was like, why don't you just write it down? He was like, I don't think I've ever thought about that. So I gave him a journal. I sent it with him. And of course he didn't, use it yet because, like he passed, but the whole idea was like there what is the word? There was a willingness. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna take these thoughts from here and put them on paper. So I asked deep, thought-provoking questions. And I was just like, I gotta do a journal for men. But are they gonna buy it? Are men gonna really journal? I'm like talking to all my homeboys. They're like, you know what? If it's full of good stuff, like I'm like, what's good stuff? They're like, it needs to have challenges. It needs to be like real, like nicely organized and created. I was like, I worked on that journal for 2 whole weeks. Like I didn't do nothing else. I didn't do nothing else business wise but build that journal. I was like, I think I made a masterpiece.
Tell Beans a little bit more about that research that you did.
So in
For-
2022,
What research we talking about?
2022, I was single for the first time in life in history, to be real. And I decided to dig deeper into the mind of men. And let me tell y'all something. I was in the valley, so it was a different caliber of men,
Mm.
and I
Wait, where
kept
you
it in the
where you
valley.
from?
I'm from Compton, actually.
Okay.
But I moved out there, and I was like, I want to go on a whole bunch of dates. And people are like, "What's wrong with you?" Like, people not gonna just. And I said, "I'm gonna pay for them." And they're like, "You gonna pay for the dates?" I was like, "I need, like my write offs, There was just a law that had passed. Meals and entertainment, you get 100% back.. I said, all right, well, we gonna eat.
Mm.
So I got on a dating app. Be okay. Sorry, I had to say it.
Okay.
Be okay. And at first I was like, this is about to be wild. This is and I talked to 50 people. Out of those 50 people, I ran a background check on all of them first before I went on a date.
Wow.
I'm very intentional about background checks. I tell people after the things I've experienced, I gotta know your past,
I need
present,
to
and the future.
start doing that. I need to stop
And so I
meeting
sent
people
him
on the internet.
to my homeboy that is a PI. And he's like, he's good. He's good. Nah, he's a felon. But I was like, no, but I want to figure this out. Like, why is
Mm.
he a felon?
Mm-hmm.
So I went on a total of 100 dates
In
in one
2022?
year with
100,
50 people.
y'all.
So 2 dates. So the first date was like an intro,
Okay.
and then like second date was like therapy. I've had people crying on my shoulder. Like
Mm.
it was wild. It was
Okay.
wild. And I took
So
them to like
no,
fancy restaurants that people don't go to, or like things where like we can really talk versus like at a crowded place or a bar.
Mm.
okay. My question to you is, I kind of have an idea, but I want you just to elaborate.
Mhm.
What was the intention behind wanting to? Were you trying to get into the minds of men? Were you just trying like, yo, I'm out here,
No, no,
like?
no. So I was always very, like transparent. Like this is an experiment. Like you're gonna be in a book. Like I'm telling you
Wait,
right
you
now.
said that on the first date?
Oh yeah.
Wait, did you say that before they agreed to the date
Uh-huh.
or
Oh
once
yeah.
you?
Yeah. I just told them I was like, I
Oh,
want to take
I thought you
you and
got there
Alex
and you
one.
was like,
No,
actually,
no,
I'm
no, no,
doing
no,
research.
no, 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 no. And they were always really shocked. They're like, "You really gonna pay for the date?" Like she pulled out her card. Like this is really a real experiment. I said, "I'm not trying to date you for real. I'm trying to dissect the mind of a man, and I'm talking about
So was it
Asian,
really a
white, black."
date?
Well, it was considered a date. He got dressed up. I got dressed up. We, talked across from each other. You know, shared a meal.
Or was it an interview?
It was a date for them because they felt so comfortable enough to be able to be interviewed. So it felt like a date, but it was an interview date, and it was to help them to heal. Like I'm
Mhm.
talking about, I ask questions and they'll tell me things, and I'd be like, "You just said that," and he'd be like, "Yeah, I've never said that to anybody, but I'm feeling this, or I've been depressed, or
Wait,
I've
wait,
dealt with
wait,
this."
wait. Before we talk about the results from your research, did any of these dudes like try to pursue you
Oh
in
yeah,
a real
oh yeah.
way,
So
and like
still
you
to
had to
this
shut them
day,
down?
out of
Did
the
anybody?
50, it's about 10 that are like, I know there, like there is a roster. I'm trying to get on the roster. Like I love the person that you are,
If they still
and you
trying to get on my
care
roster.
about me, and you ask different questions. But I'm like, it was all an experiment. And I was honest about that. I didn't kiss anybody. I didn't hold nobody's hand. I didn't do nothing with nobody.
That's what I was going to
Yeah, no,
ask.
oh no. I
Wow,
was,
you strong.
yeah,
I'm like,
I was celibate. I was focused on
All
this
50.
this this
I'm joking.
research,
I'm
like in
joking.
book,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
like in general. And I was like, there, like I have to do this. Like, so I went on a date with, an Armenian, Asian, Black, Mexican, Jamaican, whatever the case was. If I felt a connection to talk to them, and it was like an easy talk, I was like, well, I can really talk to him
you went
So,
with men of different race. Oh, I'm
then.
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I was going to say, so, and this was from January to December, right?
Mhm,
That's as
mhm,
long as it stretched.
mhm,
I got a bunch of questions, so I'm trying to like,
mhm,
Trying to
for,
narrow it down.
I'm trying to formulate them. So my first
mhm.
question is, with that information that you gathered over 2022, is that what you used for the journal?
Yep.
Was the intention behind like, let me get inside men's minds
Uh-huh.
to see what they actually need?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and my second question is, as far as the dates, were they consecutive? Were they like spread out? Like,
Spread out, for sure,
oh,
spread out. So it was like the first date. So let me just tell you this. So I would do them Friday and Saturday. So Friday and Saturday was like date night. I would go out from like 8 to like sometimes 12:30.
And would you ever do 2 dates in the same
Oh
day?
yeah, for sure. At the
Wow,
same
you was dedicated.
restaurant, right?
At
That's
the
dedicated.
same
So
restaurant?
listen.
So
So
you telling me one dude would leave and you be like, yeah, and the next dude
so
would
the
walk out?
owner knows that I was doing this, so he would bring us some champagne, and he made it feel like real special, and
Wow.
they were comfortable enough to be like, this is interesting. Like, I'm about to talk to you. Like, I hope like you're ready for this. And I'm like, all right. So I started to ask questions. For example, there's a guy that, there was a title of a felon. I was like, but it don't say it was like rape or anything. I want to know
It
his
wasn't
his
violent. Yeah.
reason. So we sitting at the table and I'm talking. I'm like, I'm really curious. And he said, about what? I said, your felony. He said, I did 3 years. I was like, for what? Who'd you kill? You like, who'd you kill? He said, I did three like years for what is it called? For his brother. I was gonna say zero to the date, but I'm glad that I didn't because that guy cried and
Mm.
he opened up about the challenges of being in jail for somebody else for their betterment. And I was like, as a man, like you must feel like amazing. That is a heroic thing, but people don't ask him. They see
Mm.
a felon
Felon
and
and
they're like,
automatically judge him. Yeah.
and they automatically judge him. So from that day, he was just like, you're a friend. Like you fuck with me. You actually asked the reason I went to jail. Nobody's ever asked him like that very reason. They just see a felon. Like you just
Mm.
like every other, you know, black guy. And so I broke it down and I said, that right there shows that you are different. You are God's child. You know what I mean?
I have one
Go
more
ahead.
Yeah,
question.
Go
go ahead, talk to
ahead.
me.
Sorry with
You
these like
good.
rapid
You
questions.
good?
So actually, I could just save that question for another time.
You might as well
Let's
ask
go.
her.
Come on. I
Go
mean,
ahead. We
I can make it quick.
got time.
So the with the culture and the temperature of men in, not saying this is like a 2023 thing. This
Mhm.
is just like a apparently like a life thing. With your interview date type style
Mhm.
experiences, did any of the dudes share that they were like on the low?
Oh yeah. I definitely got some truth. But that's why I was saying like they
They was
told me
telling you
things
that?
they told me things that they wouldn't tell anybody and they were like, I'm comfortable talking to you. I can talk to you about anything.
The,
It happens to me all the time.
yeah, the reason I
Yeah.
asked that is because like this is like a learning experience for me. Like when it comes to like a lot of like men's healing, different things, a lot of things that have been out there solely predicated or based off of like the heterosexual man's
Mm.
experience.
Mhm.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
if we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about healing men on like a larger level, I think
Mhm.
there has to be space
Oh yeah.
for
Right.
that
Oh yeah.
as well, because there are people who are internally beating themselves up because they feel like they don't have a space
Or
or
there was like
nothing.
Right.
trauma from childhood. So they would dig from childhood. And so I would say, okay, now it's important to accept that happened. But is
Right.
that the person that are you this way like for sure? Or is this because this, like occurred? And I've had people just be like,
Mm.
I never thought about that time. Like, and
Mm.
I said, go back, first of all, and forgive them. That's one of the
Mm.
hardest things. I've been a victim of assault and I've had to forgive people
Right.
literally to their face and be like, you know what? I pray for you. My assaultee, like I pray for you. I want you to be a better man. I
Mm.
know that there is a reason for some of the things that 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 these men do. It's not always because they're evil or they're just a
Right.
dog.
Right.
There's things that occur in their life as a child that affect them that they don't unpack.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't ever ask the questions. So they were all like so interested because they're like, you're asking questions and it's not a date, but it's like
Feels like
it should
they
be a
was
date.
connecting.
This
Yeah.
is
You should
how
watch
all of
Transparency.
the dates
She's good.
this
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is this is how all of my dates are supposed to be, but they don't talk. They sit on their phone all day. They want to post pictures. I put each, you know, of our phones in the center of the table face down. I said, don't answer it. If it's an
Mm.
emergency, yeah, I'm not gonna answer mine.
Right.
You got my full undivided attention. And they'll be like, nobody's ever done that on a date. Like, and the fact that this is not really a date and I'm getting all this attention, it just feels, I feel amazing.
Right.
And I like, I walked away with friends. Like, I got like homeboys up the yin yang that'll call me now
And
and
a
be
few
like,
potentials.
they be like,
And niggas who
is
want
there
like,
room on the
Right.
roster? I'm like,
Exactly. But it's crazy because that's part of the reason why I created What's Good with You.
mm,
And I really wanted a male co-host
mm,
because I felt like I did not understand how men process their emotions.
yeah.
I was so confused. It was just after so many like failed situationships, and I'm like, maybe I'm not
Situationship.
understanding something. Something is not clicking. And through this podcast, I've been able to talk to a lot of different men and just learn their story.
Mhm.
But also, I had to understand that there will be things that I will never understand.
Mhm.
yep.
And I have to be okay with that. I can't expect a man to process his emotions like how
Yes.
I do mine,
Yep.
because they don't have the tools sometimes or it's not accepted. So I'm really happy that you've created something for men to express themselves.
That is what the book is about. For women to empathize with men. It is it is
Talk a little
Ooh.
it
closer
is
to
it
it.
is for like women to empathize with dudes. You can have a great dude, but he's dealing with so much stuff from his past that he just like has to unpack it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't ask the questions, like the simple things, like I'd be like I just don't get that some females, not all, because I'm a female, don't ask their dude their real feelings. They allow things to just kind of be like, everything is good. Actually ask the question, is it all good? Are you
Mm.
upset about anything in life? Are you happy with our situation? Is there anything that you want like to adjust or change? Are you depressed about anything? Are there any, like insecurities? Those are the things that we should ask because that's how you grow a relationship, a
Mm.
friendship by understanding the person for real, for real.
I think a lot of women, and I don't know if I'm gonna go off the rails with saying what I'm about to say,
Go ahead. Speak
Be
your
real.
truth.
but what I've noticed is that a lot of women who don't have kids, who might be super big nurturers, they like nurture their male spouse or whoever, their male dude as a kid. Like they want to take care
Mm.
of something. So that's why they might be okay with, yeah, let me know whatever you need or whatever like that, because it's like that natural motherly
Mhm.
caring aspect of
Mhm.
them. So sometimes when it comes to some of the hard questions, they choose or make opt out of not asking out of fear of possibly losing this person,
Mm.
Mm.
losing the romance, the sex, or whatever like
But now it's gonna
that.
be awkward. Yeah.
Right. And now it's going to be awkward. And they are not saying it's not parts of themselves that they wish could like change or like pivot, but it's that taste of trauma, that taste of like unbalancedness is also familiar. So it's not like they haven't seen things still function in dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Mhm.
that's why I think personally, me not being a woman,
Mhm.
a female, anything like that, but I've seen the commonality of sometimes like women being okay with just taking care of adult men as if they're like kids
Mm.
and as if they're their mother.
Yeah.
That's an enabler.
Yeah, I'm like I've been guilty of that
Yeah, I
as
have too.
well, and
Yeah.
also to allowing men to share their emotions in their own time.
Yeah.
Cause me, I'm impatient, so I'll be like, "What's wrong? Like, what's going on? I don't understand. Like, what's going on? Like, I will be like, I want the answer right now. You know what I'm
It's the
saying?
delivery though.
Yeah, yeah. My
Cook
delivery
a
would be
meal.
off.
I'm big on catering. I cook a meal for you.
Oxtails,
I
dumplings.
cook you a meal, give you a facial, and then I'm gonna ask the question. And then people
Wow.
be like, okay, my ex, like husband says all the time, like, I don't think I'm ever find a woman like you. And I say, he said,
Probably
because you
not.
you actually cared about
Got him.
me. You cared about my skin, my health, my shower, my socks, my clothes. You wanted
Mhm.
me to be well. And I asked the deep questions. It was very uncomfortable at first. He was like, I'm from the Caribbean. We don't talk about that. Like I'm good. I promise. Everything was like, I'm good. I'm good. I
Right.
was like, but you're not good. I want to understand like why.
Mhm.
So
And sometimes they don't even know why.
they don't even know why.
and that happened to me one time, and I was asking like, well, why do you feel this way? And they're just like, I don't know. And that's when that a guy told me, wow, it's annoying how smart you are. Because I'm asking those deeper
Oh
questions.
my
And I was
god.
just like, really, nigga? It's annoying how smart I
Oh
am. Like,
god.
because I care about your
Yeah.
feelings.
It's so
Uh,
it's because it's rare. It's
right.
kind of rare.
Right.
And
And
that's
also,
probably the first time he's ever been asked about his feelings as an
hmm
adult.
Yeah.
right.
His whole life, he's probably
Yeah.
never been asked about his feelings.
Right. Right.
That was all my dates. They were like, "You're actually asking about my feelings, like,
Right.
and this is just an experiment." I'm like, this is,
Right.
you know.
This is just an experiment, but I love you.
Yeah.
I would get the check
They
and
was falling in love.
they're like, I want to pay for it. Like, this feels like a therapy session. I feel like I owe you something. I'm like, nah, I'm doing this from the bottom of
Where the
my heart.
Cash App at? Send
You
it, send the
know?
Cash App.
But there was always like the one that was like, this, can we keep going? Like after this day, can we go to the
So,
bar? Can we
Multiple
go to the
dates.
next location? I'm like, no.
so
I
out of
wanted
the
to.
50, sorry to bring this back up,
Uh-huh.
but out of the 50,
Mhm.
none of the dudes like had you like,
It was it's one. I'm gonna be real. It's
yeah,
one.
that's what I'm saying.
Ah!
Out of 50,
He's
one
still
had this.
around, but he's a friend, and I'm keeping him in the friend zone for a reason because I feel like he needs to still grow. I learned a lot, and so
I was about
I
to say,
sent him a journal like I want you to really actively
out of
do
the
this.
50, I know
It's
is
one that
one.
caught your
It had
eye.
to be
You know.
one, like,
He walked me to it was like my car. He opened the door and was like, "I'm not allowing you to leave without me just being, you know." So it's like a gentleman. And I'm like,
Mm,
everybody else was just cool
mm.
with the fact that I was like, I gotta go, you know. And he was like,
thanks,
nah.
Dr. Lele.
And so you know, it was kind of like, oh, okay. But he's like, I get it. Like this was an experiment, but I want to be a friend to you forever. Like, and I was
Mm.
like, okay.
He's good.
You got some good discipline, because sometimes I get caught up in that, like,
Yeah.
oh, he looked nice, and he,
Oh yeah.
he got manners and
Oh yeah.
everything, but you were able to decipher like he still needs to grow. So even if
Absolutely.
y'all would to do something right now, it's not going to turn out in the best way,
Yeah.
because you know that that's something missing. So
And he was honest about that.
I'm gonna
Like
take that. I'm gonna
he was
take that.
like, I needed that. Like you could have just been like, let's just be together. Or like, I liked you out of all these 50. And I'm like, nah, I want you to figure out yourself, become the best version of you because I see it. I can see it already.
Right.
But you just have to put in the work. And so I sent him a journal just for free, you know.
A little
And
something.
he opened it up and he was like, yo, you really sent me a journal. I'm working on it. He's 12 pages in now. Like
Wow.
I've been literally going through it every day and like thanking you for every page because you really put your like heart and soul in there.
Speaking of every page, what are some things that men can find in the journal?
So in this journal, a list of apps that you can get to help you on the journey. And then there's some books. And then there's
Mm.
also a list of like podcasts. I didn't know about y'all at the time.
Oh, it's all
But
good. It's all
I
It could
good.
be in
add
the
y'all.
next journal.
Yeah. That they can watch to really dig deeper. These are some really dope podcasts, right? And then in here I have goals. So
Mm.
you have guided goals and then self-care goals. But there's also the biggest portion is the you page. This is for every man, your color, your creed. If you're a hustler, you are a 9 to 5, or you're a creative, you are a doctor, you're a public figure, you're a content creator. This is for every man. I don't care if you're white, black, orange, or purple. You're a man and you deserve to love yourself and to know
Amen.
you to your fullest potential and be okay with that person. And if not, start digging to figure out why. And so
Mm.
there's a lot in here, like tips, and then I had to do a glossary because dudes are like, what is self-love? I don't even know what
Yeah.
it is. So I put a glossary and put like benefits and examples so they can not have to Google. Everything is in here.
Right.
You don't need anything now. It's like, and then there's like the daily guides, and then there is random pages in the book where if you land on this page, you got to really write. It means time to really write. So these are the thought, like provoking
Mm.
questions where it's like this, you know, there was like a guy in his, what is his 50s, and he landed on this page and he was like, just the question in general brought me to tears.
Wow.
And I was like, did you write? He was like, it took me a minute because I was trying like to process. And I was like, she really just asked this question. I landed on the page. I was like, if you land on any of these pages, you got to write.
You gotta follow
Mm.
through with the prompt.
And
Right.
so that was like, I'm like, he 50. He feeling it. Like that is the goal for like like men to feel, to to connect with their emotions and themselves. And I've been able to
And
get a
have a
lot of
safe
great feedback.
space to
Yes,
share their
you don't have to
emotions.
post this. You know, tell
Right.
nobody. Get your journal. Write your
Right.
journal. Like
Right.
I can't just put some like pages in here. They go
Right. You
like,
can't just put one question at the
can
Right.
you
top.
read
Yeah.
that for me?
Let go of the person you think you are and make room for the person you was born to be. Wala Sinti.
Wally the sensei
Wally the
from
sensei.
Compton, right? He's a friend of mine,
Hmm.
and like as a rapper and a used to be, you know, he was a dope dealer. He posted that, and I was like, as a man, for him to really put himself, he was like, y'all, I'm a different man. Like
Hmm.
I've unpacked some things, and I told him I'm taking that quote, I'm putting it in my journal. Like it's real. You have to let go
Right.
of the
Right.
old version of you, and so that's why it's so important for them to write out the old me versus like the new me,
Mm.
and then to go back at the end of the book and challenge yourself. So there's like a challenge at the end. It's the finish line, right? And now you have to go back and see, did you actually improve those things? Are you just talking? If
Right.
not, get you another
Accountability.
journal and keep going.
Right.
Right.
Keep
Exactly.
going,
Ain't
Keep
over yet.
going.
And
Yeah.
there's a quote on every page from like philosophers, rappers, celebrities, like in public figures that just help them like to guide, like their writing.
Mm.
That's
What they do.
beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today, your story.
I'm appreciative.
Um, you have other journals too. Just shout those out a little
So I
bit.
have 6 in total.
Okay.
They're all on Amazon, but I do like now like have a site. Okay. So
Okay. So
it's
you could buy directly
Allayah
from there.
Beamon.com. ALLA. Okay. It's too long, but they'll add it.
We're gonna put it. It's gonna be at the
But
bottom of the
now
screen, y'all.
it is just a website. So now you don't have to go on, onto Google and search. Is literally everything that I do, from like my workshops to my coaching to, all of the journals. And the goal is to put out a new journal every 3 months.
Oh wow.
So
That's
I'm gonna do
beautiful.
a teenage one. I'm gonna do a kid one. I'm gonna do a Spanish, English, Mandarin. I'm trying to hit every market, um, for sure.
Yeah, 2023. Are you ready for the abundance?
Oh, I'm ready. I've been waiting for it because it's like I've been figuring out, like, it was like my purpose, and now that I know, I'm running with it.
That's
I'm not
beautiful.
going back.
So share where people can find you.
On Instagram and TikTok, but so it's Leah, LAY, and then sorry, LAYAH, and then it's underscore inspires.
Mm.
Leia underscore inspires on Instagram. And I get on there and just drop gems. I talk, I inspire. I'm real on there. I'll be on there with a scarf on. I'll be having my robe on. And I'm just
Hmm.
talking to people so that they can see what it, what, how do I say this? Like just me in my rawest form,
Right.
Hmm.
because I love me. So I have to show people you don't have to look like a fashion designer and a celebrity every day you get on camera. Sometimes people just they just need raw and real for it.
Right.
Facts.
They need raw and
Right.
real for it. And
Means you got anything coming up?
Yes. So coming in April, that's when Transparency to Play will be back. The last time I had to play out here was last
Ooh.
February. Because I was on
awesome.
tour with the film screen of Transparency Chapter
Yeah.
4. The people been scratching the door. They're like, yo, we need that playback. We heard about the play
That play
and
is
Mm.
we
fi.
not playing with you.
That's
So I'm gonna
dope.
just submit the film screening to different film festivals and like make it available to rent.
Mm.
But as far as bringing a live playback, gonna bring one out here. Then for my birthday in June, Be Intentional Day. That's when I plan on having like the play in Jersey. Yeah, I mean, so it's
Mm.
just like a lot of moving pieces. I know the last time we spoke, I didn't catch people up. But the film screening in the DMV, that one went great as well. It's just very well received stuff in the realm of transparency. But outside of that, um, just stay tuned. Like every time y'all see me hop on this camera, just know like another tier has been crossed and it's
Mm-hmm.
like
I love it.
consistent like every time, whether that's like physically, damn, this nigga been in the gym, or
Mm-hmm.
damn, like yo, we saw him post that, you just said like the rap video. Like that's the season where opportunities are abundant, where there's constant flow in every aspect of my life, because again, I'm deserving of it.
Mm-hmm.
I put in the work for it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like a manifestation. It's just work and getting a return on my investment from
Mhm.
the sweat equity of the past.
That's
Right.
dope.
So with all that said, like what to look forward to, what's coming up, just stay tuned. Like just watch and don't be surprised.
Don't
That's
be
awesome.
surprised.
What's next for you?
Okay, so I've been doing a poor job of promoting my business on here, but Kid Onyx, I do have a business and it's just celebrated 1 year.
That's
So I
so
want to
Hey.
shout out
fun.
my business, Kid Onyx.
Yes.
I do create therapeutic tools for African American children, and I have a lot of ideas, and I'm gonna get back on it. I'm gonna start doing more pop ups and different things like that. So I'm just happy that I made it to a year. And I didn't know about the taxes and all that, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm happy that I just stayed consistent, and I'm seeing now that it's really making an impact on people, and even like at my job, and people are seeing the stuff that I make, and they're like, wow, this is so good, like this is actually helping the kids. And sometimes
Awesome.
we take ourselves for granted,
Mhm.
and it's just like you're really out here inspiring people
Mhm.
just
Right.
by sharing other people's
Mhm.
stories, or just by being a mental health advocate and being a therapist and
Mhm.
trying to normalize therapy. So I just want to give myself some credit for that, you know what I'm saying?
That's
So
so
follow
good.
_Kid Onyx. If you got them children, or if you're a teacher, or you work in childcare, it's definitely a good tool to help kids regulate their emotions. Other than that, follow What's Good With You, _What's Good With You on Instagram. Check out our YouTube. Our YouTube has been doing numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's been doing great.
awesome.
And I haven't even been doing like the promotion on YouTube, and
It's
it's still
organically growing.
exactly, it's organically growing. People really enjoyed the last episode that we did about mothers, and
I was
you
gonna ask you the feedback about that.
it was good. Like it was really good. Like a lot of people resonated with what Ronette said, what I said, just about forgiveness, and you know how we have to let go of that anger that we have towards our parents.
Mhm.
And
True.
even, and I know my mom gonna hate me for this, but it inspired a good conversation between me and my mother,
Mhm.
and like it really, like, it hit me. I was like, dang, like she's actually listening.
Right.
She's actually listening. And I never thought that would happen. I
Right.
mean, you heard me in the last episode. I never thought that, me and my mom would have an emotional relationship. But now I'm starting to see like she actually cares, and she's actually like willing to change. And that was like, dang, like
That's
that
dope.
I
That's
wasn't
beautiful.
even expecting it would help my situation. I was trying to help other people. And for my mom to see the episode and really,
Mm.
receive it
It hit home.
instead of deflect,
Mhm.
that's
Mm.
powerful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's powerful right there. So yeah, it was some good feedback, and I just really am glad that it helped me even in my own life. And I wasn't even expecting that,
Mhm.
but it did. Shout out to my mom. She just bought me Beyonce tickets.
That's
Hey.
so
So
dope.
shout out to her. Shout out to her. She's I gotta let up on her a little bit. I'm giving her flack on here, but I'm gonna let up, mama. All right. Oh, you see what I have on? This is a What's Good With You merch, and it can be purchased on what'sgoodwithyoupod.com. So please support the podcast, purchase the merch. And that is all for today. Thank you for
Thank you
coming.
guys for
Yes.
having
I
Yes. We
me.
enjoyed
appreciate you for
myself.
being
Of
here.
And What's
course.
Good With You? That's been another episode.